Hello, welcome to episode 32 of Little Bobbins Knits. My name is Dani and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Little Bobbins. We have a Ravelry group and it would be lovely if you came and joined. You can find that by searching Little Bobbins Knits in the groups tab. And show notes for the podcast can be found at littlebobbins.co.uk. So thank you so much for being here today. I had an unexpected week away last week, and I felt so it's been a couple of weeks since I last podcasted, and I felt quite absent from everything really. It's quite a stressful time at the moment. We are really hoping to be moving house soon, but it feels like we're in a bit of limbo with that. We're waiting for surveys to be completed. Hopefully that's going to be this week, and we'll hear about it hopefully soon. But I don't deal well with I don't know that it's changed so much, but uncertainty. And yeah, so I've just sort of been a bit absent from everywhere because we've had that going on, and I just can't wait until we just know something. Because yeah, I'm not good with uncertainty really, so that's why I haven't really been around very much. But thank you so much to everyone who's been in touch with me. It's always just really lovely to hear from you. So, I have lots to show you this week. I'm not sure if I'll get through it all before my camera runs out of memory, so I'll just see what we can do, what we can fit in. I've got Bob in here, he's lying upside down again. I brought up, yes, I was just talking about you. I brought up some of his favourite treats, so his brand new favourite treats. So I might give him one of those later so that he gets up and about and says hello. But anyway, I hope this episode isn't too all over the place. If it is, it's just a reflection of my current mind state. So I have some works in progress to show you, a couple of finished objects and some lovely things, and we have a new giveaway to announce. Oh, and I wanted to talk about the knit along. So let me just write a little note. I've lost my pen, possibly under bobbin. Is that pen gone, bobbin? No, I've lost it, so I just have to try and remember. You're a good boy. So, I think as, I don't know if you have a similar thing, but when things aren't entirely calm in my life, my knitting goes a bit haywire. And at the moment I'm just not in love with my knitting projects. And I think it's just because of that sort of disorganised and limbo state that I'm currently in, because I love all of my projects and I can't wait to have them as finished objects, but they're ones that I enjoy knitting. But at the moment it's just not right. But it seems to be that whenever I have a bit of a sort of upset or unsettledness, that my knitting reflects that. And I think this first work in progress is a perfect example of that. Because of the whole hopefully moving house thing, I think a nesting instinct is kicking in, and I'm wanting to make nice things for that new house that I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we actually get. So I thought I'd start a dishcloth. Now, I love these colours. This is one of the, is it Sugar and Cream? I've lost the tag somewhere. I think it's Sugar and Cream or Peaches and Cream. But I really love the colours. I think they're so pretty. I thought, oh, that'll be nice. Sort of, I'll think positively about this new house and make some nice little dishcloths that we can use when we move in. And then I remembered that I really don't enjoy knitting dishcloths, so it has stayed at this place. Which is the front? Ah, this is the front. This pattern is Sinkmates and it's by Laurelie Beltman, I think. And it's a really lovely pattern. I think it makes such lovely dishcloths. They've got this nice little hanging loop, nice little I-cord border, and then it's a excuse me, sort of mitered square cloth. And I think they're so pretty, and lots of people have knit them with a solid colour for the I-cord, and then, so say pink, a bright pink for the I-cord, and then just a cream for the rest. I think they look quite striking and lovely. So I thought, yes, I'll make a nice little batch of those. I've got a few balls of this because they're very inexpensive. So if I'm buying from Wool Warehouse, which is a place over here that sells them, I'll add one of these on, or two of these maybe, to get my basket up to the level that they'll give you free postage, which I know is counterproductive really, but it makes sense in my brain. So yeah, I seem to have gathered quite a few of these little balls, so I thought I'd start using them. But I think it's just I'm not a plant-based yarn person. I love wool too much. So I'm just finding it quite stiff on my hands and quite not fun. But I'll finish it at some point. I'm knitting it on carbons, interchangeables, 4.5, and I wish that I loved it more because I really love the pattern. I think it would be so lovely having a little set of them, and the proceeds for the pattern go to the Special Olympics, which is nice. But yeah, I think this is extremely representative of my current mindset. Who knows when that'll get finished. So my second work in progress, I'm just going to have a little sip of tea. No, I think that would be too hot actually. Yeah, too hot. My second work in progress is in my lovely bag from Luli, who has the shop Luli on Etsy. And I really love this bag. The more I use it, the more I love it. It's just such a great bag. It's nice and sturdy, perfect size for the top I've got in it. I've been trying not to look at Lee's shop because she has been showing some of the new fabrics that she's got for bags on Instagram, and they're so cute. There's one with cats and rainbows, which is a winning combo in my opinion, and she's had some lovely bird prints as well. They're just lovely, and it's a great bag. So in there I've got my Lena Tea by Carrie Bostic Hogue, and I really can't take any credit for this because Mum has just motored through this top. I must have knit about 1 inch on this and Mum has knit the rest. Well, I knit the bands, then I probably knit about 1 inch on this body part, but Mum has just been knitting loads on it, which has been great. It's now 13 inches and I should be splitting for the front and back now, but I prefer a longer top, so I think, and I've got enough yarn, so I think I'm going to go for a bit longer, or leave it out so Mum knits on it for a bit longer, and maybe stop at about 15 or 16 inches. But I really like this. The fabric is working up really nicely. I think when it's been washed it's going to be really soft, and I think it's going to be a lovely top. It's the Bergère de France Bigarelle. Oh. And it's a cotton and linen blend with little viscose neps. I really like it. I've got it on 3.25mm higher sharps, fixed circulars. It's nice. I learned something new with this to join in my next ball of yarn. This is my second ball of yarn. I used a sewn join and I think it is completely invisible. Yeah, I can't remember where I did it. So that was good. It was a really great join. I've got it linked in my project page if you would like to have a look at how you do that. It's a great join because it's extremely sturdy and it doesn't add any extra bulk, so it doesn't make your yarn thicker. It wouldn't be like knitting the two strands together or anything like that. You get the same thickness of yarn. So really, really great join for cotton or linen, sort of slipperier type yarns. So that's that. I do love the pockets in this bag, because I sort of pop my needles down in the pocket to keep them away from the knitting. I feel like I'm speeding through. Probably good because I've got lots to show you, so don't worry so much. In my lovely little raindrops bag from Fondant Fibre, it is currently raining outside, so that's quite apt, is my Pebble Beach. Now, I really didn't expect this to take me so long. I can't remember if I've ever knit with lace weight before. I think I might have a very long time ago, but I can't remember specifically, and I didn't realise how slowly I would knit with lace weight, which is fine. It's an okay thing because it's lovely lace weight to work with, but I just such a big difference for me knitting on a fingering weight versus a lace weight, because I have to be more aware, because I think I would find it easier to drop stitches with a lace weight. I'm using this beautiful yarn from the Uncommon Thread. It's Heavenly Lace and it's an alpaca, silk and cashmere blend, and it's beautiful. It's the Salty Air colourway. And I'm knitting this on some carbons, fixed circulars. I chose carbons because they've got a bit of drag and I wanted to keep my stitches where I wanted them until I wanted them to move. And I'm up to, because of the brilliant percentage system that Helen uses, this is Pebble Beach by Helen Stewart, I'm up to 90%, or just over 90%. And you can't get any sort of idea of what it looks like, can you? Because it's lace and lace weight, and it's all scrunched up on a needle that's too short. But it's just going to be so beautiful. All of this fabric that it's producing is just so squishy and light, and oh, I love it. So yeah, you can't really see anything, can you? But it's beautiful, and I'm really looking forward to blocking it. And I really don't know if I've got enough floor space to block it, because it's going to be so massive. But I'm working away on that. I sort of do a row most nights because the rows are very, very long now, and because I have to concentrate so much with this weight yarn, a row a night is enough. So yes, that's coming along. So my next work in progress, in my lovely bag from Claire, which I just think is so cute, is my Regia socks. These are the Regia 4-ply tweed. I love this yarn. It's really, really soft, and just makes such a lovely sock. I haven't worked on this lots, but it's sort of been going around with me. So this is the second sock. The first sock hasn't grown since I showed it to you last. And I'm using 2.25mm carbons needles, and I think I might have just moved the camera. Sorry about that. And yeah, I'm just knitting around on it at the moment. In the what do you want to see on the podcast thread, Knitter Joe 2 and agnesknit both asked what cast on I use for socks, and I use a long tail cast on. I love long tail cast on. I tend to use it for quite a lot of things really. It's probably the cast on that I default to, and I find it really good for socks because I find it quite easy to control the tension on it so that you can get a looser cast on without it looking sloppy or untidy, and it still is nice and stretchy. So yeah, I always use long tail cast on for socks. I like that cast on. And peckiepeck is just starting to knit socks and asked what sock patterns I would recommend, and I think I would probably recommend the Hermione's Everyday Socks pattern by Erica Luda. It's a really lovely pattern. I know lots of people use that pattern as the sort of basic outline for all of the socks that they do. It's got a nice, it's top down construction with rib and then the leg, and then it's got a eye of partridge heel, which I really love. I love an eye of partridge heel, but it's slightly different because it's got garter stitch edges, and it's got a nice rounded toe. So I really like that pattern. I think that would be a good one to try. And you can always do the pattern without the stitch pattern if you didn't want to add any texture. So I think that's one I'd recommend. But what patterns would you recommend for beginning sock knitters? It'd be really interesting to get some tips because there are so many sock patterns, aren't there? I imagine if you're just starting it can feel quite overwhelming, all of the different ones there are to try. And I'd be really interested to know which ones you think would be good for beginners. If you'd like to mention that in the episode thread, that would be great. Peckiepeck also asked about nice yarns, not too expensive and available online. And some of my favourite yarns are Regia and Opal. They last forever. I find them soft, but I'm not that delicate, so I don't know that I'm the best judge really. But I do find them very soft, especially this tweed. This is very soft. And they come in just such fun colours and patterns, and if you're going to knit plain socks, I think it's lovely to be able to have a bit of self-patterning going on. It makes you want to keep going to the next stripe or the next pattern change and stuff. So yeah, I'd really recommend Regia and Opal. I think they're great yarns. But that would be another really great thing if you could share in the thread what your favourite yarns are for socks. Obviously there's all the indie dyed ones which are just beautiful to use, but as for commercial yarns, I really like these ones. Oh, and Julie from Suffolk Socks, which is a new online shop that sells, or sort of specialises in sock yarn. She also sells handmade bags that are very beautiful, has offered us a giveaway for 2 skeins of this Regia tweed. They come in 50-gram balls. So 2 skeins is enough for you to knit a pair of socks. And yeah, she's offered us 2 balls to be given away on the podcast. So how about you go to, I'll set up a thread, and if you go over, you could join Julie's group, Suffolk Socks, I'll link it in the giveaway thread, and have a look on her shop and see which colour you would like. And then hopefully, assuming that's in stock, that could be the colour that you win, if you win. And maybe say what pattern you would use, or if you would even knit it with socks. It'd be really interesting to get some ideas. But it's such a lovely yarn. And it'd be nice to have a mooch around Suffolk Socks shop, because she has beautiful yarns there. She sells yarns like the Regia, Opal, and also Eden Cottage and the Knitting Goddess, Rowan. The Knitting Goddess is one of my absolute favourite sock yarns of all time. But yes, she also sells Rowan and all sorts of lovely, lovely sock yarns. So do go and have a look, and I'll set up that giveaway in the thread. Or I'll set up a thread for that giveaway. That makes more sense. Just have a sip of my tea. Hopefully it's cooled down now. Not sure how I feel about that tea. Mum and I went to Henley, which isn't too far away. And there they have a lovely tea shop. I think it's called Tea Salon actually, which sounds rather proper. And it's just such a lovely shop. It's quite small, but you go in and then there's a little corner that's quite dark, and it's just got dark wood shelves on 3 sides of this little nook. And the shelves are full of tins of tea. It's like an old-fashioned sort of apothecary type place. It's just lovely, and all sorts of different teas. But we went in there the other day, I think Friday, and I got some mojito martini, and it's a green tea. It's got peppermint, lime pieces, lemon, no, just lime pieces I think, and maybe lemon as well, but it's supposed to be like a mojito. Oh, and it smells very limey and lovely, but I don't think I let it steep long enough. It's a bit weak, so I think I should have let it steep a bit longer, but I love mojito, so I thought mojito tea sounded very fun indeed. So, my next work in progress, are you right there, Bobbin? Hasn't come out for a while. I sewed this bag especially for this project. It's got a little Old Maid Aunt badge, because that's the yarn I'm using. And this is my Susu. Now, the Susu is by Nora Garn. And it's this gorgeous oversized jumper with the cables and double moss stitch. It's a beautiful jumper. Are you alright, my baby? Why are you giving me that funny look? So lovely. I'm using this Old Maid Aunt. I can't even remember now because it's so long. 100% superwash blue face Leicester DK. It was so long ago since I actually spoke about this. Maybe at the start of... oh no, it must... Anyway, I can't remember how long ago, but it was quite a while. I've been working on it a bit, and I've now finished the back. Oh, just hit myself in the face with a strand of yarn. Yeah, so I've knit the back now. I just think that cable's beautiful. It's got sort of twisted stitches in it, and that double moss stitch texture is just gorgeous. And I've just made a bit of progress on the front, and the front is knit slightly differently because it goes up at the front, and that is achieved by doing some increases and decreases in the front piece. So that's been quite interesting to do. Using my lovely little stitch markers from Maya at the Wool Barn. I love them. I think they're so pretty and they go so perfectly with this yarn, don't they? I'm alternating my skeins with this. So I've got 2 going at the same time because it's hand painted and I wanted to sort of minimise any potential for striping or pooling or anything. I had to stop doing that at the top here where I was doing the decreases because it just was too much of a palaver, but I don't think you can tell really. I think that's all there is to say about that really. I'm using High Sharps interchangeables 4mm, and it's a very nice pattern, but I did do quite a lot of this actually. I think I was about there. I'd done that much and I did all of that, and because it's so repetitive I've just got a bit bored again. I'd love to get it finished, but yeah, I've just got a bit bored again because you're doing the same thing all the time and then you've just got 2 rows that have cables on, so it's very simple, and yeah, I've just got a bit bored. But I don't think that that's necessarily a reflection of the pattern at the moment. I think it's just a reflection of my brain at the moment. I just can't focus very well on things because I'm just feeling like I've got a bit too much happening, which isn't necessarily realistic. You off, Bob? Oh, there's his big tail. Your big fluffy tail. What was I just saying? Bobbin's got a new set of steps so that he can get up and down off the bed easier, because our bed's quite high and it just excites me every time I see him use his steps. It's ridiculous, but it does excite me. So yes, would love to get this finished. We'll have to start working on it again soon, but in my current mindset it's just not appealing. And the yarn's beautiful to work with, so that's something that's making me wish that I was knitting on it, but I'm not, so. But it's had quite a lot of progress made on it since last time I worked on it, so that's a good thing. Now, my last work in progress is quite exciting, I think. Sorry, I might have just given you a very funny look, but the camera looks very strange to me, so I hope you're not having strangeness. In my lovely bag from Lena, who has the A Wee Bit Nitty podcast, who I saw has a new episode out, which I'm very excited to catch up on. I love Lena's podcast. This did have my other socks in, but I realised that it was completely perfect for a new project that I have going on. I have started some socks out of this yarn from British Bee Knits. This is one of the Buffy colourways. And I started these socks because I was sent a completely exciting and fantastic gift from Karen, who has the Bob and Weave shop on Etsy, and it's a knitting belt. This is one of her mini knitting belts. I'm very okay. I love doing this podcast. I love getting to chat with you about my knitting. I love hearing from you about your knitting, and I love the conversation that it enables me to have with people. And I honestly didn't realise how much doing this podcast would actually change my life, but it really has, and I'm very grateful to all of you for watching and letting that happen. Really, It's a very, very strange thing. I didn't realise how huge this would be in my life, and it's really, really lovely, and I feel very, very lucky that you've been so kind and welcoming and open to my podcast, so thank you so much for that. But another thing about it is people send me just really, really exciting things, and that's strange for me because I'm not... This is just turning into completely random explanations of my confused brain, but I never expect anything from anyone, and I just feel very, very lucky when people want to give me things. It's just so kind and overwhelming for me, really. And I've always wanted to try a knitting belt, and so I'm just, yeah, it's just really, really lovely that Karen has sent me one to try. Excuse me. I've been interested in these for a while, because it's just such an interesting... It's such an interesting thing to learn about. I've read a few articles and there's still an awful lot more to learn. But my understanding of a knitting belt is they were used in the Shetland Islands, and production knitters would use them because it would enable them to knit very quickly and a lot. The weight of the needle is supported, or the weight of the needle with the knitting on is supported in one of these holes, so your hand doesn't get fatigued from holding on to the weight of your knitting. So you wear this around your waist, or in America, interestingly enough, and I wonder why there's this difference, but in America they wear it on their thigh and the needle comes up straight, and in the Shetlands they wear it on their waist and pop the needle in. So Karen hand makes these. Isn't that colour just fantastic? Yeah, you just slot your needle, put this around your waist, but I won't because you won't be able to see it, and then you pop your needle in one of the holes. And Karen also sent me some really long DPNs, some different sizes. So that one's really, really long. And I've been trying with these. And I think one of the reasons that this has interested me, it's also one of the reasons that I've been interested in continental knitting, is because I love knitting, as you may have guessed, as you do too. And I never want to not be able to knit, so I'm very aware with how I knit. I have the needle resting in my thumb there, and I'm very aware that that is perhaps not the best way to knit, because the weight on this joint, especially, not so much if I'm knitting socks, but if I'm knitting something heavier, there's a lot of weight happening on that joint that might not necessarily be good for my knitting longevity. So having the needle popped into there, you have to do sort of, that's not going to work, you do a different hold, so you don't really have to hold on to that needle because it's safely attached to your belt, but you just sort of go over the top instead. And I think I'll do a video showing you how I actually use the knitting belt, but it's more of a flicking motion. The way I do it is sort of a flicking motion as well, but it's just a flicking motion where you don't get the weight on your thumb joint, which I think it's useful to be able to switch so that you do get the rest. So when I'm using the knitting belt, my thumb joint is rested, but I'm still able to be knitting. I don't want to change the way I knit. because I'm very sentimentally attached to it. It's the way my mum knits, and it's special to me because of that. But I would like to be able to spread the load, and I think using a knitting belt will help me do that. I'm going to put some links in the show notes for some videos. There's a couple by Hazel Tyndall, who is, I don't know if she's the UK's fastest knitter or the world's fastest knitter, but you watch the video of her knitting. She's using a knitting belt in it, and it's mind-blowing. She's just so fast. It's incredible. So I'll put some videos of that in the show notes because they're just amazing. And I'm looking forward to practicing with this more. I've really enjoyed it so far. There was no sort of learning curve with it. It felt quite instinctual. It's very comfortable to be around your waist, and it will soften over time as well, so it will get used to where you put your needle, and I just think that's very, very interesting indeed. It's a very interesting technique that I'd like to talk about a bit more at a later date when I've sort of practiced with it a bit more. I thought that I would start with socks because I knit quite a lot of socks, so I wouldn't have to be thinking about pattern or what I was doing so much as how I was holding my needle and how this was working for me, because socks sort of just happen because I've knit so many of them now. But yeah, it's very, very interesting, and I would recommend that you go and have a look at Karen's shop because I just think they're fascinating bits of kit. I'm not sure that they work if you're a continental knitter, but if you are an English style knitter, I just think that they're a very, very good idea indeed. So yes, there'll be more about this, and I'll probably do a video showing you how I knit with it, and then I'll show you I'll put in a link to Hazel Tyndall knitting with it, and you'll just be like, come on Dani, you need to speed up a bit now. Because I am not fast. Well, I think it will take me some years of practice to get anywhere near as fast as she is, but it's just very, very interesting. And that sort of link to the history of knitting is very appealing for me as well. So yes, thank you so much for that, Karen. I'm really enjoying getting to know that a bit more. Yeah, it's really, really fun to use, and yeah, I'm wondering how much it will change my knitting, because it's very, very comfortable. It's very comfortable not having to hold that weight. Yeah, it's still I'm still sort of thinking about it, but I'm really, really enjoying it. So that's how far that sock's got. This is the Shoot Me, Stuff Me, Mount Me colourway from British Bee Knits in the Buffy Anti-Club, I think it's called. And it's got sparkle in it, which I don't think you can probably see. But yeah, lovely yarn, lovely experiment, and really, really enjoyable project. So yeah, there'll be more about that coming soon, because it's too interesting to say such a small amount about. So that's all of my works in progress, thank goodness, because that's quite a lot. So on to my finished objects. Now I've shown you this finished object before, but it's been blocked now, and it's my Verdure shawlette by Fluffy Fibres, and hasn't it blocked out beautifully? Just gorgeous. That lace pattern has just opened up so lovely, And because this was a lovely gift from Deb, who is Tink Hickman, and it's a 50% silk and 50% merino, Sweet Georgia, merino fine, I think it's called merino fine, but it's all in my project page. But because it's got such a high silk content, it really stretched out, and I love how much it stretched out because it's just meant that it's a really nice flowy piece now. I love how that border looks. And it's made a really nice size too. I think that's partly to do with the silk as well, because it stretches so much that it's a really lovely size. So I'm really thrilled with that. That pattern is by Fluffy Fibres. It was Isabel, who has the wonderful Fluffy Fibres podcast, which I absolutely love. So yeah, that's that finished. Very pleased with that. And I have also been knitting these little hand spun hearts. This is from the Gnome is Where the Heart Is pattern by Susan Claudino, and these are going to be going to some very lovely people. I've knit one that's already gone. But yeah, I love this heart shape. It's such a lovely pattern. Just so enjoyable. I've stuffed mine with polyfill, and there's a little lavender bag in there too. So it just smells gorgeous. These are the perfect thing, I think, for little bits of hand spun. I love this pattern. So I haven't knit any of those for a while, but I was happy to knit some more. Obviously, Mum wanted them all. She has 7, I think. I think we worked out that she has 7 of them, and yet she also wanted to steal these because 7 just isn't enough, apparently. So, yes, another lovely finished object. I knit those, whenever I knit these, I knit them with magic loop because I just find it easier. And I use 2.5mm needles. I think this yarn is probably about the fingering weight, maybe slightly heavier, but 2.5mm needles made this really nice sort of not a dense fabric, but you can't see the stuffing through, which is what you want from a toy. Lavender smells so good. So yes, they're my finished objects. I'm just going to have another sip of tea. So I try and get that little tiny dog back. Got him these new treats, they're little bits of sausage. We found this, well, there's this new shop in Marlow, which is close by, and it's just for dogs. It sells all sorts of things that dogs might like. It sells natural good foods for dogs, and these all sorts of different toys. These just completely cute beds that are like a plastic bear head, but not as, that doesn't make it sound good. It's just white or black. It's just like a little dog cave, and it's got ears. And everything is cuter with ears. I don't know if you agree, but I am of the opinion that everything is cuter if it's got ears. But Bobbin liked having a little look around there. Bobbin, do you want one of your little thingies? What's this? You've got to come up your stairs though. Oh, you're so clever. Look, over there. Oh. He loves these. They stink. He absolutely loves them. Probably because they stink. You're a good boy. Oh, you're so clever. Yeah, we liked having a look around that dog shop. I think we're going to have to go back again soon. What do you think, Bob? So, lovely things. I've got some very, very lovely things to show you. I don't know that I will be able to show you them all because my thingy might run out. Oh, you're so lovely. But it will just mean that I have things to show you next week, which will be good, because I haven't, I'm still not buying things, which is good. Yeah, we'll see how long it lasts, but I haven't bought anything yet. Anyway, so this first thing, I did have it last time I podcasted, but I didn't want to show you just in case anyone who had bought it hadn't received it yet, because it was sort of a surprise. So it's the Rocky Horror Show kit from Fondant Fibre. And yes, so that arrived. Look at this fabulous bag. I love bags from Deb anyway, but it's got the Rocky Horror Show lips on it. It's got a fantastic little red lips zip pull, and the bottom is sort of a shiny red fabric, and I don't know if you can see, but it's got netting over it, so it looks like the bag is wearing fishnets, which I think is fantastic. And Deb has such a good attention to detail that I love this. I just think that is so clever and just brilliant, because a Rocky Horror Show bag should be wearing fishnets, shouldn't it? I remember seeing the Rocky Horror Show for the first time. Mum and I rented it from the library because Mum had seen it when it first came out and she really, really liked it. And we rented it from the library and got home and watched it, and I just thought, what on earth is Mum making me watch? This is just ridiculous. And then I watched it again and completely fell in love with it. It is best musical ever, definitely, in my opinion. But yes, I absolutely love it, and I've watched it hundreds of times since then. So I went for the yarn kit. Hello baby, you're a good boy. And there's some pictures of Frankenfurter. Just brilliant. I love Tim Curry. And this is the gorgeous yarn. It's called ICU Shiver with Anticipation. Oh, such an urge to break into song. But I won't. And it's gorgeous, gorgeous colours. It's reds. There's the gold of Rocky's hot pants. There's some whites and purples and black. I think the black is the very, very dark bits of purple. It's beautiful yarn, absolutely beautiful. It's superwash merino, cashmere and nylon. Yeah, really gorgeous. And the thing I really enjoy about kits is I probably wouldn't choose this yarn because it's not colours that I'm necessarily drawn to. But I'm so happy to have it because it's beautiful. So that's really exciting, I think. That's the exciting thing about kits. You get the fact that it's about Rocky Horror Show means that I'm sold, but you get to experiment with different colours that you might not necessarily choose yourself. But then when you have them, you completely fall in love with them. I love all those bits of cream there as well. I can't wait to see how this knits up. It might have to be cast on pretty soon, actually. I think it's going to make such fantastic socks. Very lovely. And the kit also came with, and excuse the noise that may be about to happen, came with some lovely knitted soap, which just smells gorgeous. I have a knitted soap from Deb, and it's so lovely. I've been using it on my hand knits. I blocked this with the knitted soap, and it just smells so fresh and lovely. It has just a really, really fresh, clean smell. I really, really love it. And it's soft. It sort of leaves your knits feeling soft, I think, because it's got the lanolin in. But it's beautiful, so I was excited to have some more of that. And although I think Mum wants to steal it for when she washes her socks. And then a little tin baby, there's no food in here. And in the tin there are some stitch markers on the theme. So there's a high heel, some lips, a little sort of bustier thing, corset maybe is a good word, a little heart with a red jewel, and Eddie's motorbike, which I love. I've got 2 kits from Deb at Fondant Fibre now, and they've both been so brilliant, and I think what makes them so brilliant is because you can tell that Deb is making kits based on things that she really loves and really sort of knows inside out. So yeah, that's how she can put such lovely details in them, I think. And yeah, so I'm absolutely thrilled with that. Very, very exciting indeed. Yeah. What are you up to, little boy? What are you up to? It's still not food. So thrilled with that, and I love that my bag is wearing fishnets. Bobbin is trying to find his little treats again. You've woken up, have you, Bobbin? So, other lovely things. I was sent a lovely package from Anya, who is Lesezustig. Every time, Anya, I'm sorry. But she sent me a lovely package for my birthday because she's just so sweet and kind. And she sent me some lovely tea bags, a whole different selection of tea bags. This one's got lavender in, I think. So yeah, lots of different flavours and some yummy sweeties. And she also sent me this yarn, which I haven't tried before. I haven't actually ever seen this yarn before, so that's really exciting. But it's Katia Olay Socks Comfort Tweed, and it's such pretty. There's blues, greens, pinks, yellows in there, and I think this is just going to be so lovely to knit up. I'm really, really interested to see how that's going to knit up. So that's going to be really fun. Thank you so much, Anya. If you can hear that, that's Bobbin trying to get comfy on some pillows that are on the floor. He doesn't do things quietly. Bobbin, shall we stop that now, do you think? The picture of innocence when I look round at him. I also got another completely lovely package, and this one was really unexpected, and I haven't actually asked the person who sent it to me whether I can mention their name. So I won't say their Ravelry name, but it's from lovely Jo, who was just so very kind. She sent me a little ball of My First Regia, which is gorgeous, and I can't wait to put this in my various, well, 2 different sock yarn blankets. Lovely colours in that. She also sent me some of this, I don't know what the colour's going to come out like on the screen, but this fantastic neon Regia sock yarn. And I have some yarn from Barenvuller, Vicky JB on Instagram, her lovely yarn shop, which is making it very difficult for me to not buy yarn because she has such beautiful things. But I have a skein from her with that's got this fluorescent green in, so I think this would be perfect for the heels and toes and cuffs maybe on that. So that's fantastic. She also sent me some lovely different tea bags, lots and lots of different ones to try, which is exciting. Oh, very nice. And some lovely nail varnishes, which are my perfect colours, but I love them. And she also sent me a skein of the vintage tulle from Fondant Fibre. Now, Deb sent me a little sample of this. Bobbin, don't bark please. a little sample of this with one of my orders previously, and I completely fell in love with it, and I've been looking out for it because I wanted to buy some. So this just couldn't be more perfect. Thank you so much, Jo. I love fondant fibre, as you know, and the colours are just such pretty shades of pink. And it's got that gold stellina running through it. It's the spangle gold base. So yeah, thank you so much for that package, Jo. It was just so lovely and so very unexpected. Really, really touched by that. So that was exciting. I just remembered I forgot to show you a couple of things that were in my fondant fibre bag. They've also sent me a sample of a little mini skein of her spangle in the Sugar Rush colourway. This has got silver sparkle, and how lovely are those colours. Gorgeous. And she also sent me a little sample of the fibre in the same colourway, which I can't wait to spin out. I've actually been stalking her shop to try and get some of this fibre and this yarn, so when I'm having a moment where not buying yarn seems very, very dull, I think that's what I'm going to go and buy. So my last lovely thing was also a lovely surprise. People are just so kind, and I'm very, very grateful. But this was from, I've talked about how much I love Isabel before, but it's from lovely Isabel from the Fluffy Fibres podcast. I just think that she's so lovely, and I absolutely love her podcast, and I was just extremely touched by this wonderful package that she sent me. She sent me one of her bags, which incidentally has two of my favourite flowers on, which I think is quite incredible. And in the lovely handmade by Isabel bag, it's got her little Kitty Couture by Isabel label on there. Inside the lovely handmade bag is this completely pretty fat quarter, which I'm going to save and do something lovely with. And some chocolate. And Anya and Jo also sent me sweeties, so thank you very much. And Isabel also sent me some different tea bags. It's so fun trying all these different teas, isn't it? And she wrote down what they are in English on the cutest little cat post-its. Oh, so cute. And she sent me a lovely note, which I really, really appreciated. And she also sent me some of this gorgeous yarn. And it's alpaca, 100% alpaca. And Isabel said in her note that, I'll just read it so that I don't say it wrong. It's one of the few remaining French spinning mills, and it focuses on local production and being eco-friendly, which is lovely. And this is the softest alpaca I've ever felt. Ever. And I use quite a lot of alpaca. I really, really like alpaca. And this is definitely the softest that I've ever felt. So she sent me 3 balls of that. And it's just, look at this colour. Gorgeous. Heathered grey. It's beautiful. So I don't know what that's going to be yet. That's got to stay in stash for a little while. It's just lovely. Thank you so much, Isabel. It's, yeah, just lovely. I'm very, very lucky indeed. I feel very, very lucky, and I'm very, very grateful for the very, very kind people. Can I say very, very anymore? But I've just met such kind people in this podcasting journey, and gosh, doesn't that sound grand, podcasting journey? But since I've been doing this podcast, I have met the loveliest people, the kindest people, and I'm just overwhelmed by how lovely and kind people are. It's, yeah, really, really touched me. So thank you so much. I love this bag, Isabel. I can't wait to get a project in it, but I don't know which project to put in it yet because it needs to be special. Yeah. I just realised I completely forgot to mention about the knit-along. So the knit-along I mentioned last episode about working from, I think someone called it a purposeful stash knit-along in the group, and I thought that was a brilliant name for it. So the purposeful stash knit-along that I mentioned last week, I think we'll have to use that name because it's genius. Lots of you did seem interested in it, which is really exciting and I'm really, really pleased about. I was thinking, we don't have enough hot weather here for me to stop knitting big things in the summer. I might not knit really warm things in the summer, but my knitting doesn't really change in the summer. But I just wanted to make sure that you wanted to knit big things in your summer, or yes, I know that not all of the world is having summer, and some of you are having autumn time now, but how much of a ramble is this turning into? But yes, so would you like to start this purposeful stash knit along soon? I was thinking sort of the beginning of July, but I realise it's a week later than I thought it was going to be. This is just ridiculous, isn't it? So, yes. Shall we just get started with the knit along, or would you prefer to wait until sort of a September time? I sort of think now, because I'd quite like the cardigan to wear when it gets cooler, because I'm going to knit a cardigan. But let me know what you think, because we've already got the yarn, haven't we, because it's in our stash. So we don't need that much preparation time. We can all swatch together and do things like that. And I think really if you have something on the go, you can join in with that as well, as long as you haven't done loads on it. As long as you've got a fair bit to do, then I think that would be good to join in with that. I was wondering if we should have some separate categories. So we could have one for an adult garment, which is what I'll be doing, and then maybe one category where people can do smaller things like an accessory or a baby knit or socks or something like that, so that we can all join in hopefully and just pick whichever commitment we want to make, because I know garments are big thing to knit. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. Yeah, it's still being decided on and everything, so yeah, let me know what you think about the time that we start and whether you think the categories are a good idea. There's 2 different categories. I don't want to make it too complicated, because the whole point of this, I just like us knitting along with each other. So yeah, then we'll get prizes organised and things like that, and it'll be fun. So yeah, do let me know in the episode thread what you think about that. So, thank you so much for coming and watching today. Thank you so much to the lovely and kind people who've sent me things. I appreciate you such a lot. Do remember to go over to the group and enter the giveaway for the lovely Regia tweed yarn. I'll set up a thread. So go over to the Suffolk Socks shop and have a look at what colour you'd like, and join Julie's group as well, because she's going to be hosting lots of giveaways and she does lovely, lovely yarns, so there'll be good ones to get involved with, I'm sure. And yeah, I really enjoyed chatting with you today. I'm sorry if it seemed a little bit disorganised. I do sort of think that it might be a little bit disorganised for a little while until we know what's happening with this house. The unsettledness is just, I'm just not zen enough to cope with that, really. So it's just a bit, yeah, I just want to know what's going on, really. So until we know what's going on, it might be a bit unsettled over here. But I really appreciate you coming and watching, and I hope you have a really lovely week, and hope to see you again in the next podcast. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.